Let's talk about Biden. We got to go Biden, then we got to go Kamala Harris, and then I got a review video of a woman that said that she quit her 9-to-5 job to become a full-time content creator. She decided to go back to her full-time job. But before we get into that, let's spend 10 minutes on Biden. Everybody has been speculating for a long time whether or not Biden would actually quit. Everybody been speculating about whether or not Biden is fit to become president of the United States, considering the deterioration of his cognitive functions and him being able to even stand up and communicate a thought clearly. And I think that it's a valid concern, no matter what side of the aisle that you stand on, whether you're a Democrat, whether you're a Republican. I think it's fair after that last debate to question whether or not Biden is going to make it another 4 years inside of the White House. And so as that question has been proliferating in the sphere, Biden had a message for everybody, and he definitively is standing 10 toes down. He said, I ain't going nowhere.
Facing doubts from within his party and new polling that shows the president falling further behind former President Trump, today candidate Biden telling his team, no one is pushing me out. The president and vice president held a conference call with campaign staff. Officials say he was direct, saying to aides, let me say this as clearly as I possibly can, as simply and straightforward as I can. I am running. Nearly a week after the debate that the White House labels a bad night, the president called key congressional Democrats, officials here acknowledging the strain.
That the last few days have been challenging.
With more troubling signs in new polling done after the debate. President Biden now trailing former President Trump by 6 points. 80% of those surveyed said they consider the president too old to run again.
You know it's bad when your own base is starting to swing the other way, not even because of your policies. Now, I don't necessarily agree with his policies. I don't agree with the majority of what he's done inside of the White House, especially as far as leaving our borders open. But historically, we've always known that most people don't care about the job that you do. They only base it off of either A, identity politics, or B, what side of the aisle you on. Don't matter what the label is, don't matter exactly what job you do. We learned that from the second Bush. He got a second term right after he was destroying the American economy, and then he threw everything into shambles, and then people voted him in again because they were emotional. He said, we got to finish the war against terror. And then they went over there and they ain't find no weapons of mass destruction. You know what they did find? Oil.
We looked on a satellite and we can see it's a bunker over there with Saddam Hussein. And even though we're the ones that put him in power, now we can see that he's developed weapons of mass destruction and we got to go over there and stop him.
I was looking at the camera like, so we went from 9/11 and weapons of mass destruction. Okay. And then the people got emotional and they voted him in anyway. There's no reason why the second Bush should have got in the first time. He is a lifetime C student in real life. And then he got in a second time. And it's because we played off of people's emotions. And as a result, he made y'all miserable. Because between him and Clinton is the one that manufactured the housing crisis that then extended over into the Bush regime. And then they also manufactured the North American Free Trade Agreement and extended an exodus of our jobs, and we didn't even make nothing in the United States anymore. We just financed everything. And so once that housing implosion and that economy bust, then we got Obama, who was able to come in and with his size 12 shoes on and push in a sassy agenda, and now he a part of the alphabet community. So it's all just generational curses that we just continue to put on the American people. But you know it's bad. You know it's bad when it gets to the point to where regardless of what you do inside of the White House and how many jobs you destroy, good, bad, or indifferent, the only thing that people is paying attention to is whether or not you can communicate a sentence clearly. And he said, nah, man, you too old, big dog. You too old to even destroy the country. You too, because we don't know who run in the White House.
Biden allies say the president must counter that perception.
President Biden has got to go out there and on a sustained basis show he has the stamina and can do the job.
But a second House Democrat, Arizona's Raul Grijalva, has now called on Mr. Biden to drop out. The president's only public event today, a Medal of Honor ceremony in the East Room. Son Hunter Biden in attendance. The president ignored
Hunter. Was that Hunter?
ceremony in the East Room. Son Hunter Biden.
Was that Cocaine Hunt? Hunter has the biggest head proportion to his body of anybody that is sitting in that crowd right now. And that's because let me get off of Hunt. Because you already listen, if the president forgive Hunter before he even, I ain't even gonna get into Hunter's big head.
Biden in attendance. The president ignoring reporters' questions. The White House says the president is The White House says the president is now feeling great after citing a cold on debate night. The president told donors Tuesday evening that he had jet lag too, though the debate was 12 days after his return from Europe. The president said that this is not an excuse, but an explanation. Meanwhile, the White House is also trying to blunt any signal the president is even talking about an exit, and rejected a report from the New York Times, not confirmed by NBC News, that the president told an ally he is weighing whether to continue.
Is the president telling people he's evaluating the race?
False. That is absolutely false.
All right, Kelly, that poll you cited, just one of several new polls showing the debate did real damage to the Biden campaign.
And the Biden campaign is responding to the polling, saying that they argue the race is incredibly tight. While tonight the president and vice president continue outreach with a meeting with more than 20 Democratic governors on video call, and some are here in person, looking to shore up support and to address their concerns.
Look at her neck, y'all. You can tell the age by the neck. Let's continue.
But first, President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris are meeting right now with more than 20 Democratic governors at the White House. The pivotal meeting comes as concern and defections grow within his own party after that disastrous debate performance. But the president tonight is defiant, spending the day talking to campaign staffers, congressional leaders, and radio hosts.
I had a bad night. And the fact of the matter is that, I screwed up. I made a mistake. That's 90 minutes on stage. Look at what I've done in 3.5 years.
CBS's Weijia Jiang reports from the White House on how the president is working to prove he's up to the job for another 4 years.
Tonight, President Biden is trying to squash doubts about his re-election efforts, telling campaign staffers on a call, "Let me say this as clearly as I possibly can and as simply and straightforward as I can. I am running. No one's pushing me out."
We know, and we're very thankful for it over here on the right. The conservatives are very thankful that you standing 10 toes down, Biden.
I'm not leaving. On the campaign trail in Michigan, First Lady Jill Biden stressed the same.
Joe is the Democratic nominee, and he is going to beat Donald Trump.
But today, a second House Democrat reportedly called for Biden to step aside, Arizona Congressman Raul Grijalva. Now Biden is scrambling for party support with personal outreach to leaders on Capitol Hill and a meeting with Democratic governors at the White House late this evening, including Governor John Carney of Delaware.
Hopefully some of the concerns that they're hearing from their constituents, understandably, can be answered tonight.
Nearly 1 week after Biden's disastrous debate performance, he is blaming it on jet lag. At a fundraiser, Biden said, "I decided to travel around the world a couple times. Then I almost fell asleep on stage." Biden traveled to France, Italy, and California the first half of June, but he returned to Washington 11 days before the debate.
So no more blaming it on jet lag. We know where you was at, Biden.
It's not an excuse, but it's an explanation.
The White House says Biden wants to turn the page.
Is President Biden considering stepping down?
Absolutely not.
Is there anything, Karine, that would change his mind?
Look, I cannot lay out something that would change the president's mind. He has been very clear.
Tonight, the Biden campaign is out with a new fundraising email. Subject line, I'm running, from President Biden. Earlier today, a morale boost from White House Chief of Staff Jeff Zients, who held an all-staff call urging officials here to, quote, stay together and have each other's back. Adriana.
Let me see what's happening on the other front. I want to see what NBC News is talking about.
Welcome to Meet the Press Now. I'm Gabe Gutierrez in Washington. As public and private calls for President Biden to step aside after last week's debate performance are gaining momentum, with brutal new polling out this afternoon as the president and his White House allies feverishly work to salvage his candidacy and the remainder of his presidency. In just a few hours, President Biden is set to meet at the White House with Democratic governors. And it comes as sources tell me that the Biden campaign is now reaching out to conservative Democrats as part of an urgent effort to prevent defections within the party from snowballing.
Listen, this is over. This race is over. It is. It's over, but way before November. July, August, September, October, November. 4 months ago, this is over. If I was Trump, I wouldn't even debate with him again because you already won. The only thing you got to do is let him keep recording himself and let him keep, making speeches, getting out here in these streets. People would rather have wheelchair Abbott that can't even move his legs, Greg Abbott down there in Texas, the governor, than they would, real talk. Because, this man, he incapacitated. He can't think. It's the very same things that I've seen with some dementia, people that got dementia before. So, yeah, man, it's bad. It's horrible. I think that this race is already over. There's no point in even continuing to talk about it.